Do you want to know what I eat in a day? It was kind of funny. I had a patient just the other day ask me this question, like, Doctor, tell me what you eat. And first of all, I want you to know right now, I enjoy eating, and I hope you do too. So, first of all, do not be afraid of food. Okay. And second of all, don't just go after that little wimpy salad that doesn't have anything on it. And just because you think you should eat a lot less. Okay. And then definitely thinking about, nutrients, right? Protein, first and foremost, right? Your fats and know your carb levels. But in terms of counting all the calories, don't do that. Think about your big deal, right? Your macronutrients. So your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates. And then I like to think about what I call vitamin F, which is fiber. All those things you really want to think about counting, not necessarily all those calories, okay? So I'm a real doctor. I'm a busy woman. I do eat to keep my hormones happy, my energy stable, and my brain switched on. And in truth, that's because a lot of times I've struggled with all those things, right? That isn't like I just like, oh, I eat all the time and I've maintained this like perfect balance. Like I went through a ton of stress in the clinic, tons of low blood sugar dips, and kept pushing through. And it was bad for me. It made me feel bad. It made me just rely on food as energy. And it made me just push through. And so, like, let me be over with that, right? And let me think too. Let me think ahead. A lot of it is just about thinking ahead. What do you like to eat? Making it available and getting it in and add water. It's enjoy, make it delicious. So what do I like to do? Well, let's say I go to the gym, right? I will usually get a pre or post carb, right? And I also like to get a lot of protein. But let's say I'm not going to the gym that day, or Orange Theory, actually. I will grab a protein shake, a plant-based protein shake. I love ours in Flamax. There's either vanilla chai or chocolate mint, and it's delicious. High protein is the golden rule. Get that 20 grams in of protein, see how you feel. Like I said, I like a plant-based shake. Some people who are really exhausted, they'll use beef or steak in the morning. Like they'll go for it. And if you're there, that means you've got a lot of fatigue going on. You've got a lot of nutrient deficiencies, probably some adrenal stuff. So, you know, think about that. But when you're using a good amount of protein, so at least 20 grams, we're women, we're going to have less protein. You've got to think plant-based with protein or animal product. Because if you're thinking dairy and concentrated whey, you're going to eventually blow out your guts, which means your guts are just going to like go to try to get rid of all that stuff and go to diarrhea. And that can help with that can happen with animal-based protein, high animal-based protein, including whey. Okay, so that's why I like to think about plant-based proteins. This stabilizes my blood sugar, my mood, gives me hours to do my thing. Okay, I don't have cravings. I also have energy, so that makes me happy, right? Of course, there's some carbs in that. I have my plant-based shake, right? So it's pea and rice, and I like it, and it's great. I'll add a banana or half a banana if I want. Extra cinnamon for blood sugar regulation and cortisol modulation. I like that. I love to add a little collagen, and people argue a lot about collagen powder. Our collagen powder, though, it makes us not have crimpy eye stuff. So we know it's working, okay? And lots of water. You still want to breathe when you get your protein shake in. You don't want to be like always running around the house. Just give yourself a few minutes to enjoy it. 2-3 minutes is always kind of what it takes. No big deal. I don't want to send my blood sugar on a roller coaster first thing in the morning. I don't even just crash at 10. I just crash. So I can't get out of that for the whole day, actually. Okay, so done that, and then I get into lunch. Can't be missed, can't be ignored, can't be worked through. Okay, you really want that moment where you can take a breath and get that food in, get it through the digestive system with joy, right? Calm, and just as a tip, get that screen of beautiful trees on the computer or look outside your window and look at that tree line. Be outside if you can and really soak in that joy that comes with calming the nervous system to welcome that food for digestion and absorption. Oftentimes, though, my patients are like, nope, I blow through it. I'm like, okay, first of all, if I'm going to blow through it, I'm going to have another shake. because it's liquid, or something liquid, something with broth, whatever. If you have to blow through your lunch, don't go heavy, right? So I'll tell you, sometimes I just repeat a shake. I put some protein source in. So usually this is what I do. I take a tuna steak and it's thaw, and I pop it on one side and pan sear it for 2 to 3 minutes, pop it on the other, pan sear it 2 to 3 minutes. The meantime, I'm either cooking green beans, broccoli. I might have like arugula, which is a bitter, which is phenomenal. I may have some lentils because I do love lentils. In 7 minutes, I have this beautiful tuna steak. Squeeze some lemon on it. Squeeze some lemon everywhere on the plate. Throw on some like, I don't know, like a nice little spicy, salty. It's got a little bit of salt. It's got a little mix of flavors. And I put that on my tuna steak and yummy. And within 15 minutes, I've prepped, cooked, and usually joyfully eaten my tuna steak with vegetables. But make sure adding the vegetables. This is a great time for me to have vegetables. If I do add the avocado, I slice it, right? And that's really good. I happen to like cooked vegetables. They're easier to absorb and digest. So I love that. And then take those extra 5 minutes, put your feet up, just be like, this is good. If you don't live fish, then you might slice some steak. Some people would slice some tofu, right? So that's good. All those things are really good. And it kind of gets you to have that second block. But again, clear your mind when you're eating lunch, right? Just like have that space. Okay, dinner. Okay, dinner, jump on dinner. Like, get it done. Don't linger. This is really important because whatever you're eating still has to be processed before you go to bed. Okay, so you don't want to be like 7 o'clock, you're thinking about what to eat. Again, prep is better. So what's nutrient dense, that's important, right? So I'm thinking about like broccoli again, which I love. So if I didn't have it for lunch, I might have it for dinner. Zucchini, red bell peppers. I love red bell peppers. You can slice them and put them with some shrimp and some pesto, and um, you know, sweet potato. So that's obviously all except the shrimp is animal. That's a little more on the carb side, but it's a lot of vegetables. So sometimes I don't have a lot of steak, but usually I like it like once a month or twice a month, just because I try to limit animal products in my diet. So, but I do tend towards more fish for animal meat, and then protein. Of course, I love lentils. They've got a lot of carbs. So sometimes I have lentils. I add a little bit of salt and I add a little bit of actually Kalamata olives. Adding those things, just being conscious of your carb load with that, because you do want to think about your carbs and you want to get some carbs in, but not really any more than like 30 to 40 grams. And when you have like rice, quinoa, sweet potatoes, some starchy vegetables, you can get to that gram load pretty quickly. So it's something to think about. Then, of course, do I have snacks? Yeah, I have snacks. I eat snacks all the time, but I start with a big glass of water. That's very, very helpful. So, and usually a snack, like, well, how much is a snack, right? Well, to definitely fit like in the small part of your palm, right? Not like this is a snack, right? Like, so of course, unless you're chomping into a really big, beautiful apple. But just something quick that's small, like some dark chocolate, or I really like dried fruit. People will argue with that, and I think that's fine. Go right ahead. That's not your thing. Like I said, a piece of fruit. If you can avoid the caffeine, that's really important. Go to green tea. You'll get that has caffeine. It's a little bit of stimulant, but it's a really powerful antioxidant, right? So, just go for the water and then be like, okay, what do I need? So this is my 45-second rule. Because if you're going for a snack, your energy's dropping, maybe your blood sugar's dropping, you have to go power through something, right? So don't deny the fact that you need a snack and the fact that you're going to probably try to go to something that's going to give you a quick fix, right? And for some of us, that can even be something like as severe as like Red Bull or like Mountain Dew, right? Or like Diet Coke is not as bad as those, but still like blah. And you don't want to go there, right? Or grab a donut or whatever on the counter. Like, no. Get some water and then make your decision, right? And then you'll avoid like soda and, processed oils and fats, and you won't go for like a full carb. Because if you get a carb and crash both start with C. Are there magic powders and starvation diets? Not really. Like, we're all human. Please, this is more about trying to give some insights than judgy, right? Because I'm not telling you the times when I slip or, miss out on things. I'm giving you an ideal picture. Okay. So, you know, just know that. Just know that we're all human. And I'm trying to give you like some good guidelines. I'm not going to tell you, like if like the stuff that you don't need to hear, basically, because you already know that stuff. You already live that life, right? Like you don't need to reiterate that, other than the fact to tell you that's real. But don't, like hear my voice, be like, drink water, then make the decision, right? Like then you're like, I'll drink water and then make the decision, and that will lead you to a happier place. So again, we got to support those hormones, and adrenal crashes really matter for our sex hormones and our brain function. So you don't want to be in that slippery slope. You got a lot of things to do in the day, got a lot of people to take care of, got a lot of things to accomplish. And so just get the water, get that lunch in, right? Have a snack, plan for a snack. Don't eat it, don't eat it, fine, but have it be there. Get these things in place to support you. They're easy, they're quick, they're easy to plan, they're redundant, and you have to eat. Because if you don't make those decisions, the ramification is such that you're going to grab something sugary off the counter, or you're going to go carb, right? And you're going to have to clean that up. So I've got a 3 day hormone friendly meal plan. Just some nice little things to support you with that. Let me know what you think. And we're going to get this perimenopause framework, right? Organized together, structured, so that you are just like living the life you want and feeling good and not having to kind of backtrack and fix stuff. We don't like that. That takes a lot longer. But that's life sometimes too. Dr. McSwain here, Dr. Andrea, and just can't wait to help you out even more. Have a beautiful day.